General Understanding is brought to you by Dominion Energy's Talent Acquisition Team and Veterans Resource Group. We're proud to share our military podcast with you. We invite you to visit dominionenergy.com/military to learn more about our military programs and Dominion Energy careers to find the career you love.
Welcome to General Understanding, a podcast for Dominion Energy employees, where we speak with individuals who support our military and veteran communities, and where we will recognize veteran and other military-connected employees who are helping to transform the way we do business. In today's episode, we speak with Dennis McDade, Electric Serviceman First Class for Dominion Energy and Air Force veteran. Dennis is not only one of our many talented veteran employees, but he's also known for his safety and diversity raps and videos and his other community involvement and company promotions. Today's topics will include Dennis's military experiences and his career with Dominion Energy, his unique opportunities with the company and advice he shares as a result, and Dennis's musical influences and his experiences as a recording artist. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
I'll hold your hands and you hold mine. Connect and walk ourselves up to the top. Support and that will develop till we can rise above exploitation and pain.
Welcome to General Understanding, a conversation for betterment for all employees to learn more about veterans, a platform for unity, embracing communities, perfect opportunity to value you and me, those who serve their country and fought for our rights, to the family and friends of those who sacrifice. This is dedicated to all, and by the way, I salute our armed forces every day as your holiday.
Connect and walk ourselves up to the top. Support.
I'm your host, Matt Kellum, Military and Recruitment Program Coordinator for Dominion Energy. And folks, you all have been listening to us hopefully now for several months, and we've had a lot of really, really good guests on the show, but this one's a really unique one. And this is actually our Veterans Day episode. It's coming out on November 12th, and I am really, really excited to have this gentleman on. He's a name and a voice that I think you'll recognize from our theme music. But I'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Dennis McDade. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Matt, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome, man. I don't know. I think you're the man, the myth, the legend, and that's what we're going to learn about today.
Okay, good, very good.
How's things treating you, man? Everything's good out in the field. I know you all have been doing, sticking to your work here during the pandemic, and being a critical and essential worker. Everything's good and safe on your end.
Yes, as an essential worker, of course, we have to still work out here in the field and make sure we provide our customers with safe and reliable service. But as far as everything's concerned, everybody's been working safe. We've been wearing our masks, social distancing whenever we can, and make sure we stay safe, our colleagues stay safe, and make sure our family stays safe. So everything's been good.
That's number one. And I tell you, that's actually a pretty good segue. So, in any of our episodes, I always just ask the guests to introduce themselves, and you being a Dominion Energy employee and a proud Air Force veteran, can you just start out and introduce us to, the role that you're in? How did you get to the company? And then maybe even take us a little bit further back and, tell us a little bit about your Air Force experience, what made you go into the military, and then bring us all the way back to how did that impact you coming to Dominion Energy?
Very good. Well, my name is Dennis McDade. I'm a serviceman first class for Dominion Energy. So basically my role is the first responder to any type of trouble calls a customer might have. So if the lights are out, if there's a tree on the line, if there's wires down, I'm the first one that we call to come out to assess the situation, make sure everything is safe. And if I can do it myself, get the lights back on. And if I need more help, get reinforcements from our other fellow linemen, and we come get your lights back on. And I got into this position. Actually, it was almost like an accident, I would say. So take you back to April of 2000. I joined the Air Force. I was a jet mechanic. So basically, I was a guy who did routine maintenance on our fighter jet craft, F-22 Raptors and things like that.
Okay.
And after I got out of the Air Force, I wanted to see, like, where am I going to go? This is post 9/11. So they were doing a lot of layoffs as far as working on planes and things like that. So it was going to be hard for me to maybe get a job working on aircraft. So in the meantime, I still had to have money coming in. So
Sure.
I picked up a job with Cox Communications, a cable TV service. And one day I did a routine call to a gentleman's house. And I still remember it, Matt, because I was working in an area that I normally didn't work because somebody else called off sick on this beautiful Friday. Imagine that, right?
It's meant to be.
So the whole way I'm just upset, like, I can't believe they calling out. So I go to this gentleman's house in Williamsburg, and I gave him, good customer service. He was happy with the service I provided him. I fixed his TV. His internet was working good. And he said, have you ever thought about working for Dominion? And I said, well, I heard Dominion's a great company to work for, but I didn't know how to get in. What do I need to do? He said, well, here's my email. Forward me your resume and I'll see what I can do for you. Matt, so just so happened he was a manager for Dominion.
Nice.
He ended up forwarding my information to John Lastra, who was a recruiter for Dominion.
Yeah.
And 3 days later, they're giving me an over-the-phone interview. They scheduled me for a CAS test. I did great. And then they even offered me a scholarship to Trenton, Georgia, for the apprenticeship program. Dominion was offering a program where they would send us to lineman school for 4 months. And upon completion, you will come in as a trainee, an apprentice lineman. Because I actually applied for a groundman position, which is an entry-level position. But like I said, I did good testing. They offered me this position. I went to Trenton, Georgia, got the scholarship. 2007 of January, I started as a trainee for Dominion.
That's awesome, man. That's a really good story. And I know we want to go back and kind of maybe tease out some more about your military experience and how that, influenced even your experience at Cox and so on. But it's interesting you say that. And I think you do the same because you and I have passed names back and forth to one another. But I always do that. Like if I have a lady or a gentleman that's doing some work in my home, I remember one time it was a gentleman that was actually replacing one of my windshields that had busted. I always look out for good individuals for that same reason. And I've handed my business card to, maybe half of them, for example. And some follow up, some don't. But I think, that individual who called out sick that day and the fact that you covered for him, that was very fortuitous and meant to be.
Yes, sir. Yes, it was.
What and just for the listeners, John Lastra has since left the company. I'm not sure if he formally retired, but since left the company, he was a longtime recruiter in our talent acquisition group, also an Air Force veteran. And I think what was, again, probably just a really interesting way that unfolded is John, I'm sure, had a really good understanding of what your background was, how you performed in that pre-employment testing. And so combining his military experience with what he was seeing in your background probably did not hurt at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And going back to the Air Force, of course, any type of military branch, we all have that discipline. It teaches us responsibility, to work hard, safety. And I think those core values is what really helped me transition into the energy field with Dominion, because it was kind of like hand in hand. And same thing with Cox Communications. I worked, safety was always important, to be able to work outside in inclement weather all times of the day. I did the same thing in the Air Force. So I was able to do that at Cox Communications. And that's what I do now here at Dominion. So everything kind of goes hand in hand.
So you reminded me, and I'm glad you kind of mentioned that 24/7, hail, sleet, rain, snow, like doesn't matter. Like you got to be ready to go, and we need to take care of our customers first safely. I'll point out, but you've seen a lot of success in the company. You've obviously you kind of gone over it a little bit. You progressed fairly quickly over the almost 14 years you've been with the company. But what are the one thing that I kind of noticed from what you described, you were an Air Force mechanic, jet mechanic, work for Cox Communications. You know, on paper, someone might not, who doesn't recognize those things, might not recognize like, oh, that translates perfectly to becoming an electric, power line worker or a groundman. But what about that mechanical and I guess telecom and otherwise that aptitude? What about that and maybe some of your other traits that you gained from the military not only helped you transition well into the role with the company, but maybe even elaborate a little bit on how that's helped you with progressing over the 14 years and seeing the successes that you have.
Well, going back to the Air Force, our main core values were always integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And that could transcend no matter what job we had in the Air Force. So even as a jet mechanic, paying attention to detail, making sure everything is on point at all given times, which transitions to the electrical field. You have to make sure everything you do is correct and there's no room for error. And it incorporates good with Dominion Energy's core values of safety, ethics, excellence, one Dominion, and even embracing change. So as things change, we can adjust to these changes. We're always safe. We make sure ethics, which is integrity first, and make sure everything we do is excellent. So I think being able to have those core values in the Air Force, no matter what position I actually had in the Air Force, can transition good in any position, whether it's Dominion or any company across the country anyway, because I think once you have that nice foundation, you can learn any position or learn the traits of the job, but that foundation will help you be successful in any type of career you choose.
Yeah, and those are really good points that you make because I have a bit of an advantage being in our talent acquisition group where I get to see other folks like yourself as they're transitioning out or maybe have been out a little bit from the military, but I see them going on to the gas side and having a lot of success, early on, and then even as they're progressing, I see them going into our power generation business unit, whichever sector of that business unit they're going in and seeing the same successes. So, yeah, I would agree. I mean, to me and you, we kind of live it and hear it all the time. But I think maybe for our listeners to hear these very simple things called out is hopefully really good. That's kind of the intent of the podcast, so that maybe a leader recognizes, hey, I should maybe give that second look to the veteran candidate or to the recruiter or to the other employee who's maybe a peer. Again, maybe paying attention differently to, to those traits and skills that a veteran employee is bringing to our teams.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it Dominion.
Okay.
You obviously, many of our listeners, I hope, again, will recognize your name and voice. You were really, really kind several months ago when I said, "Hey, Dennis, I got this idea. I'd like to do a podcast," and it dawns on me that you've got some artistic talent. And oh, by the way, you're a veteran, so you were really cool to me and provided the theme music, which I love, man. And I'm not gonna lie. I think I told you this when I called you as soon as I got it. And I don't mind telling the listeners, I'm a very open book, but I teared up when I heard it because to me, you understood. I told you one quick 15-minute phone call, what my goals were. And you're like, all right, I got it, man. I'll get back with you, a couple of weeks. And I teared up, man, because you got it, you understood it. And to me, it means so much to be able to not only address in this fashion, but to then later take care of our service members and veterans and all the military family members. Tell us just a little bit about how in the world did you get interested in music way back in the day? How did you start producing or recording your own stuff? And, you've done our safety rap, diversity rap, all this cool stuff. Tell us about that side of Dennis McDade.
So music is one of my passions. One thing about music, and even taking it back to when I was a child, you can learn so much through music. You think about your ABCs, ABC, everything is melodic, right? And I paid attention to that. So before I got into the Air Force, I just started dabbling a little bit in music back in Cleveland, Ohio, where I'm from.
Okay.
But I never had any equipment or studio places to record music. I would just write it down and kind of, do some things in front of my friends. So I vowed to myself, once I got in the Air Force and I got that nice little bonus for signing up for the Air Force, I was going to buy myself a laptop, a computer, a keyboard, all these good things. And I was going to start recording music. And that's exactly what I did, Matt.
Sweet.
So as of January 2001, when I was in the Air Force, I would record music in my dorm room. I would burn my songs on a blank CD. I would get like 1,000 CDs every time I got paid, and I would hand them out for free to all of the people on base. And before you know it, I started making a name for myself. My stage name was Diverse, Dyverse. And it started picking up more and more. And over time, I started, doing shows in Hampton Roads area, Virginia Beach, Hampton. And I started getting on the radio. So things started picking up. So it's so funny because once I first started at Dominion, a lot of the guys I work with, the linemen and groundmen, they knew I did music.
Mm-hmm.
But they always tease me, say, "Oh man, you doing music? You want to be a lineman? Which one?" They said, "What you need to do is make a lineman song." And I forgot the gentleman's name who made a lineman song back in the day, but it's a pretty popular song. I need to do my research. He actually made a lineman song. So they said, "You need to make a lineman song." So I said,
"It's a country song, right?"
It is a country song. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm upset I can't remember his name right now, but I started thinking like, that would be pretty cool. How can I make a song here at work?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, if I did make a lineman song, I want to make a song where it's general enough to not just so linemen are safe, but maybe everybody who works in the field can be safe. So as a part of the Fairfax Safety Committee, I'm always thinking of new innovative ways. How can I promote safety in a fun way? I'm always paying attention in our meetings when they talk about safety, and some people are kind of like distracted. They're into their phones. So I said, how can I keep this energy alive and upbeat? So I decided to make a safety rap song. And I remember being at home and I was going through some of my production beats, getting ready to make a song for myself. But this one particular beat, dun, 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 and I started playing around, said, dun, dun, safe. Dun, dun. And I said, what if I made a song for Dominion called Safe? So I actually made the song and nobody knew about it. So some of the guys on my safety committee, we were making a video and I said, all right, guys, I got an idea for a video. Just listen to me and trust me. So they didn't know what I was going to do. I said, just do this little baseball symbol where you're like, you're the Empire saying safe. Just do that. They're like, Dennis, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I said, trust me. So I went home, put it all together. And I still remember we had a quarterly safety meeting coming up. And it's like 70 to 80 of us in our office in this meeting. So I was going to debut this video in this meeting, Matt. And I tell you, I was nervous. The guys who were in the video were nervous. I remember sitting in the back of the room, closest to the exit, just in case this thing didn't go good. I'm out of here.
Bottles and cans are going.
Right. And I wanted to actually get a view of the audience to see how they, they took it in. So they played the video, Matt, and they loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is the first time in history in our safety meeting where we played a video 4 times in a row.
That's awesome.
They were actually cheering and clapping. I had never seen this for a safety video.
Yeah.
So here's another quick story. So by the end of the meeting, everybody's happy. And my 2 managers at the time, Rick Landis and Bruce Black, they were kind of, with a serious face said, Dennis, can we speak to you in our office, please? And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. So they bring me in the office and they're playing it just well. They're playing with me, but they're real serious. Dennis, we want to talk about that video you just showed us. So I'm like, what happened? They said, we love it. We love the music. We love the message. And with your permission, can we share it with our colleagues in Richmond?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I felt so much better.
It's like being in the big producer's office and
exactly
on the label. Yeah.
Like, what did you just do? But no, they loved it. They spread throughout the company. It went viral, Matt. I mean, it just took off. It took off. And then from that kind of spurred me to do other videos in the future.
And so obviously I didn't know all of that had taken place on the front end, but obviously I saw it when it got pushed out to the company. And for me personally, I really like all music. But I did, admittedly, I grew up. I was telling someone this the other day. My first 2 albums, like plastic, whatever,
vinyl.
Vinyl albums, were Kenny Rogers and Alabama, because my dad's side of the family, who, by the way, he retired from the company, but they grew up rural, they like country music, all that. Right. But anyway, I quickly got into hip hop and R&B in middle school and all that, and I just really like that kind of music growing up. But I really love all music. But so when I heard that safety rap, like, man, like that's sweet, man. Like dang, man, that's so. Anyway, I kind of like the folks in that meeting. I really did fall in love with it, and I thought it was such a cool way to to get across a message to employees outside of a normal PowerPoint or just, someone speaking to a group of individuals. I think it's just a really cool way to connect.
Thank you. Just like you, majority of the people I work with, they like country music too. And this was part of my nervousness. It's like, well, how am I going to show this rap song to people who might not like it, but they end up loving it.
Well, and I'll tell you this. So in every episode that we've recorded or that I've recorded with, some of our guests, there's always hidden gems that I have no clue what's going to come on. And that's kind of what makes these conversations fun. Right. I might have known or might have heard once that your stage name or your artist name was Diverse, but I don't know if I heard that. And I know that, probably the majority of our listeners do not know that, but I think that says a lot about you as an individual. Man, I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the years. You're so positive. You're just fun to be around. You're a good all around guy. But then hearing you say that that's the name you chose to go with even then, right. I think just says it all about you and also the messages that you're trying to probably get through all of your music, even, the majority of which I haven't heard. But anyway, I think that's, again, pretty fortuitous back in the day when you when that gentleman said, "Hey, send me your information."
Right. No.
So so you've done for those who don't know, you've done that safety rap that you described. I've also seen your diversity rap, which I think you might have done a couple years later or something like that.
I did that actually 2 years later.
Yep.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, not to cut you off, Matt, but the safety rap was the first viral music video I had going on. And I still wanted to create more music. But at that particular time in 2009, that safety rap was so powerful with the company, it kind of overshadowed everything else I was still creating during that time. So I did make the safety rap, which won Dominion first place award amongst all utilities internationally. I think it was what is it called? The UCI award or whatever, but it's a communication award for safety. Mm-hmm. I made the diversity rap. I made Just Drive rap, which won second place. Sweet. And I've done a lot of different, videos and music things after that too. So it's kept me busy.
Well, so again, I'm going to switch gears just a little bit, but I want to kind of stay on this now, combining your military experience, how that helped you get into the company. You've had successes going from groundman to serviceman first class. We know now that you're pretty accomplished artist in its own right. What are some of the unique things that you have had an opportunity to do with the company, whether it's in your technical field and how you've been able to professionally develop there, and or if you've had opportunities to maybe cross-train and go shadow other groups and learn more about other parts of the company, like in communications or things like that? Can you share with our listeners just what have those opportunities for development been and what have they looked like?
I've had a lot of great opportunities, Matt. Going back to the safety rap, the original reason why I got interested in creating videos is because a year prior in 2008, I was actually awarded an opportunity to be everyday lineman in a Dominion TV commercial, commercial and print. So I actually got to see from behind the scenes how the production is set up, from the lights to the camera to how they're doing different scenes. That actually sparked my interest in creating videos. So a year later, I said, I want to make my own video because I like being on set so much. Yeah. And that kind of sparked me to being able to create different videos. And because of my different years of creating videos, I got so much attention from the leadership across the company that I was awarded an opportunity to cross-train into our video production team down in Richmond for corporate communications. So I spent 4 months down in Richmond, actually, going day to day with our video production team. And I got to see a little bit more of how things are created on production side of doing videos. And that was a very great opportunity because once again, this sparked my interest to create more and more videos. And I think being able to be out here with these different people in our company, I get to network more and meet more different people in different parts of our company. And I like to get to see, different opportunities because we never know. I might not be a serviceman forever. I might be able to have an opportunity where I met someone, at a different department, and now I get to cross train into that department. Yeah. So that was awesome. Some of the other, I may cut you off, Matt. Some of the other some of the other great opportunities I've had because of these videos is that I've had multiple interviews with different magazines like GI Jobs, which is for our veterans. I had a article in that, and I made on the front page, my little pictures on the front page with the Air Force logo.
Yeah.
And also being a part of Dominion's first 100 years of service, where they had a nice colored book of all the different things from way back in the day where they first started to today. And myself and the other guys were in there for our safety wrap.
That's cool.
Along with the other, interviews with like Fox News and, Beyond the Dream and Richmond Times Dispatch. I've had a lot of great opportunities. So it's a blessing. Dominion, they definitely promotes diversity. They embrace change. And if anybody has any innovative ideas or something that can help the workforce, whether it's on your job, safety, Dominion is totally behind it. So I'm proud to work for a company that promotes that.
Yeah, and man, just hearing you describe it the way I've seen most of those things. I've seen your GI Jobs feature, which is great to have highlighted for this particular discussion. Highlighting our veteran employees. I've got a copy of the 100-year book that they put out. So I've seen a lot of those things, and one thing that you reminded me of, and you wrap that up nicely, is the company has always been support, at least as long as I've been here. I've been here just a little bit shorter period of time than you have, but as long as I've known it, and my family is longtime Dominion employees, I've known the company to encourage innovation. I've known them to support creativity. The example that you didn't say it this way, but your leadership really put themselves out there and backing you up to go away for 4 months, because I know you're talented in your electric power delivery role, but they were bold enough themselves to allow you to go for 4 months and do that and have that opportunity to learn, which, if I had to bet money, will pay some dividends down the road. So when we do get a little bit older and we can't be as physical or what have you, maybe we can all go into communications. But then the last thing I would say, and this is a part of the job that I love in my role, and I think you do as well, is we're all advocates of the company. So whatever opportunities we have to promote this great company that we really love, you're a great example of that, and being able to put it out there in our local communities and nationally with all the talents and skills that you have.
Absolutely.
So I think that's I appreciate you taking that opportunity to just kind of talk a little bit about, just some of your, the opportunities you were afforded, but also some professional development, because it's one thing, as it's one thing to bring in a talented veteran, as it pertains to the topic that we're covering in this podcast. But it's another thing for that veteran to feel like he or she is orienting well into our company, but also supported by our great leaders, and that they see the opportunities to continue to grow for 10, 20, 30 years later. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will mention that, as long as I've been here since 2007, our leadership, our local management supervision, they're very supportive. They're very on board, and they promote career development in all shapes and sizes, whether it's safety, ethics, your career role, or if you're interested in maybe something else. They're supportive of making sure you get the education you need, the training you need, and that can help you grow. And that also makes the company a better company.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Investing in your folks is certainly one of the main ways to ensure the company's successes, and that we're all paying close attention to our core values as well and living them, which I think you of all people, I mean, I think you probably hit on all 5 of them, but I think you embody it almost inherently all 5 of our values, which I very much appreciate.
Appreciate that, Matt.
So we're going to switch gears a little bit. And I almost hate to do this, because I would love to just talk to you for hours and just pick your brain, learn about music, like all this stuff.
Right.
And I'll just say this. I had a similar kind of experience that piqued my interest in wanting to do this podcast, because I had the opportunity to be a guest, kind of like you had the opportunity to be in one of our ads and commercials. And I just really liked the experience. And it dawned on me, probably like for you, that maybe this way of just recording good conversations and spotlighting great organizations and people would be a really cool way to share with the company. So I can very much relate to that. And anyway, I think we could probably talk for hours. But with that, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to wind down the discussion a bit. So this is the portion of the show where listeners, I hope, are becoming accustomed to us unwinding and learning something else cool about the guest. This is the portion called At Ease. And I know in the military, you can appreciate that, where at ease.
You're
He's
right.
relaxed. So we're gonna stick with the music theme. I've asked things like, "What's your favorite, morning beverage? Coolest place to travel?" Like stuff like that. But I'm really curious now. And you mentioned, back in the 2000s, and even as a kid and all that. What music influenced you? Like, what as a young person, what got you interested? Like, what was the genre, or what was the artist? What was your?
I want to give a lot of credit to my mom, because growing up, my mom was very diverse in her music selection. She played everything from Cyndi Lauper to The Temptations to Michael Jackson to Prince to the Beatles. So I was around a lot of different forms of music, Matt. So I get a little bit of influence from all genres. So even when you said you like country music, I like country music too. I like rock, I like pop, I like R&B, I like rap. But as I got a little older and started getting more into my hip hop and R&B, I will say my favorite rap artist, and even today, would have to be Jay-Z.
Okay.
I like his music, and even more than that, I like his business as far as how he handles business. So I would say that's my favorite artist today.
Oh man, well, so I know and we will definitely have to either just talk offline, because when I'm doing yard work, I usually have to psych myself out because I'm not really looking forward to cutting grass. So anyway, I put in my hip hop and R&B. I mean, that is what I like to listen to, and man, like old school 80s, 90s rap is my favorite. And so I won't list a bunch, but here's the biggest question: if you had to pick one, who? And I think you just said Jay-Z is your favorite rap artist, maybe, but is he your favorite like all time artist, or do you have a favorite group artist, like just no doubt all time?
I would say my all-time favorite artist would have to be Michael Jackson.
Okay. Yep.
And that's because, I was introduced to I still remember my mom having the Thriller album with him sitting on with the white suit, and Michael Jackson was just
Tiger,
so cool. Right? The Tiger, yes. Yeah. And I remember I ended up getting one of his jackets for Christmas. I had the glitter glove. I had the pillow.
Did you get the red one?
I had the red one.
The red one, yeah.
I had the red one. I remember just trying to learn how to moonwalk. I just thought Michael Jackson was the coolest thing ever.
He definitely was, man. All right, so I'm just gonna come. I can't top. No one can top but I'll leave you with this. My two favorite groups, I'm gonna go with groups, are Huey Lewis and the News. I just love Huey Lewis, and then New Edition.
Oh, New Edition. Yeah. Very good. Uh-huh.
So, I think when I was in like elementary school or early middle school, I just kind of fell in love with like Candy Girl and
Candy Girl. Yep. Right. Yeah.
So anyway,
that's good. Yep, that's good.
Well, cool. I appreciate you doing that little session with me, man. I always like to kind of learn a little fun thing about our guests, and for you, I certainly thought music would be a cool one to learn from you.
Sure.
As we wrap up this episode, what is there any way? I know you're not always on email like I am every day, but is there any last words or any just kind of advice that you might like to leave listeners just from your perspective, and as we close things out?
Absolutely. I will always suggest that no matter if yourself, your kids, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, educate yourself as much as possible. Any career field you want to learn, educate yourself, work hard, make sure we look after each other, stay safe, embrace diversity and change, and just let's try to be the best, versions of ourselves that we can be. And like you said, I'm not always, responding to email as much as I should, but I am available across all, social media platforms as just Dennis McDade, real simple. And I think I have close to a little bit over 100,000 followers across all social media. But I'm very into, my LinkedIn and my Twitter and things like that. So I usually respond to people. People have questions all the time. And I always get, questions from different individuals, females and males, who are interested in our line work, and they seek out to me and ask me questions. Hey, what can I do to do this? How can I be a good candidate to be a lineman? So I'm always responding and giving them the best information they can have. So feel free to leave me, any questions, comments, compliments. I welcome it all. So.
That's awesome, man. Well, so it's Dennis McDade. It's McDade for whatever social media channel you might be on. And that's great advice, Dennis, man. You're such a good guy. And I obviously it dawned on me, and I was so excited when you agreed to do the theme music, which I love. I hope others do too. And anyway, I can't thank you enough. I consider you a good friend. I don't get to see you as often. This is probably the most I've seen you in a long time, but being a couple counties away, I wish I could see you more, but you're a good man. And thank you so much. Thank you for your military service. And thanks for being on this episode.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Anytime. And if you want to bring it back, just let me know.
hey, we might just save you. Maybe we'll do something live or something.
There you go. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. Take care.
You too.
That's all we have for today's episode. We'd like to thank our guests for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the conversation. For more information about the company's military program, visit dominionenergy.com/military or search military program on the company's HR home site. To provide feedback for the show or to send us your questions, email militaryrelations@dominionenergy.com. A special thanks to Dennis McDade, Air Force veteran employee, for our theme music. Join us for our next episode when we have Lieutenant Colonel Frank Pera of the Army's 249th Engineer Battalion, the Prime Power Battalion, on the show, and where we learn more about the Prime Power Battalion, their training, capabilities, and their role in support of worldwide requirements, highlight how Dominion Energy and Prime Power have partnered over the years, and learn about the successes Prime Power soldiers have when they transition into the civilian energy industry. Thank you for listening, and remember, actions speak louder.
I'll hold your hands and you hold mine, and act and walk ourselves up to the top. Support and power develop till we can rise above exploitation and pain.
Welcome to General Understanding, a conversation for betterment for all employees to learn more about veterans, a platform for unity, embracing communities, perfect opportunity to value you and me, those who serve their country and fought for our rights, to the family and friends of those who sacrifice. This is dedicated to all, and by the way, I salute our armed forces every day as your holiday.